The women who become quietly wealthy are rarely the ones cutting coupons in public or announcing a deal at dinner. They're the ones you would never guess have seven figures, because almost nothing about how they spend gives it away. Not the car in the driveway, not the bag on the counter, not the vacation photos. Not because they are depriving themselves of anything. Because the money that used to leave in small, forgettable ways is somewhere else now, working, quietly, in the background, while everyone else is still watching it disappear. Picture two women in the same coffee shop, same job, roughly the same income, same size apartment. One of them will be quietly worth $2 million by 55. The other won't. And if you watched a single day of either of their lives, you could not tell which is which. That's the entire point of this video. Genuinely wealthy people don't look like they're building wealth. They look almost boringly the same as everyone else, right up until you look at the 10 specific things they quietly stopped buying, and where years of that redirected money actually went. This isn't a video about being cheap, and none of these 10 things involve deprivation. You'll see that by the end. What they involve is redirection. The exact same dollar, sent somewhere that keeps growing instead of somewhere that disappears the second it's spent. I'm ranking these from the most familiar swap to the one that quietly decides whether any of the other 9 ever mattered at all. Stay for that last one. It's the one almost nobody gets right, even people who think they're doing everything else on this list correctly. Number 1. The logo bag replaced every season. You know the pattern. A new colorway drops, the old one suddenly looks dated, even though nothing about it actually changed. And $4,000 leads for a bag that will look exactly as dated in 18 months. The quietly wealthy version of this buys one well-made, unbranded bag every 5 to 7 years. Same category of spending. A completely different destination for the other $3,000 a year. Into a brokerage account, where it turns into roughly $200,000 over 25 years. The bag didn't vanish. It became a stake in 300 companies instead of one photo on an app. But bags are the obvious one. Here's a swap almost nobody flags as related at all. Number 2. The closet that turns over every season. Not one big splurge. A dozen $30 and $40 pieces a month. Bought for a single event or a single trend cycle. Half of them worn once. Some never worn at all with the tag still on. Add it up honestly, and it's easily $2,000 a year that never even became a memorable outfit. Redirected into a retirement account for 30 years. Quietly matching the bag. From a category most people don't think to track, because it never feels like one big decision. Just 40 small ones a month. Now here's the one that hides in a completely different part of the day. The drive to work. Number 3. The car payment nobody questions, because everyone has one. $500 a month feels as fixed as rent, so it stops registering as a choice at all. The quietly wealthy habit here is almost anticlimactic. Drive the paid-off, unremarkable car, 8, 10, sometimes 15 years past when a new one would have felt due. Redirect that $500 a month into an index fund for just a decade, and it's worth roughly $80,000, before you even add back the interest that was never paid to a lender, or the insurance premium on a car worth less. Number 4 is smaller per transaction, and somehow adds up to more than the car. Number 4. The $40 delivery order that happens on a phone in under a minute, so casually it barely registers as spending at all. Not dinner out with friends, the solo order, the one that's really just decision fatigue at 7 p.m. Cut it from daily to twice a week, cook or prep the rest, and most people who actually track it free up close to $7,000 a year. Invested for 15 years, that crosses $200,000. Quietly the biggest number so far, built entirely from a habit that felt too small to ever add up to anything. Which raises the harder question. What happens to all the other small stuff nobody's tracking either? Number 5. The subscription stack. The gym membership visited 4 times since January. 3 streaming services nobody actively chose to keep. An app trial that quietly converted to $60 a year, 11 months ago, and hasn't been opened since. Individually, none of it is enough to notice. Audited honestly and trimmed to what's actually used, it typically frees $60 to $100 a month. Redirected for 20 years, $40,000 to $60,000 that used to just evaporate, a few dollars at a time, with almost nothing enjoyable to show for most of it. The next one only happens once, which is exactly why it's easy to justify going bigger than it needs to be. Number 6. The oversized event. Nobody's suggesting skipping the wedding, the milestone, the celebration. Just the extra $20,000 spent to look a certain way for one evening, in front of people who won't remember the flower arrangements in 5 years. Because nobody remembers flower arrangements in 5 years. That $20,000, put toward a down payment or invested at the very start of a marriage, when compounding has the most decades left to work, is worth well over $100,000 20 years later. Still growing quietly. The memory of the flowers has faded either way, spent or not. Number 7 is the one people convince themselves is an investment, when it usually isn't. Number 7. Renovating a kitchen that already works, because it's a year or two out of style, and there are people coming over. That's a real cost for a return that's almost entirely social, an evening's worth of a certain reaction, rather than anything that changes daily life. Skip the cosmetic redo. Put that $15,000 to $30,000 into an investment property or a brokerage account instead, and it keeps compounding, long after that kitchen would have gone out of style again anyway. Because styles always do. Everything so far has been about what not to buy. Number 8 is about something almost nobody frames as a purchase at all, even though it functions exactly like one. Number 8. The purchase that isn't really about the object. The hard day that gets justified with a bag. The boredom that gets justified with a cart full of things at 11 p.m. The bad meeting that turns into $40 spent on nothing memorable an hour later. Genuinely wealthy people feel this impulse exactly as often as anyone else. They've just usually built one small piece of friction into it. A 24 to 48 hour rule before anything over a set amount. No exceptions in the moment it's tempting. That single pause with no other change tends to eliminate 10 to 20% of a person's entire discretionary spending. Not because everything gets rejected on reconsideration, but because most impulse purchases quietly don't survive being reconsidered at all, once the feeling that triggered them has already passed. Which means the real skill isn't self-control in the moment. It's designing a system that doesn't require any. Number 9, and this is where it gets uncomfortable, because it's the only one on this list that isn't really a purchase at all. High-fee, actively managed investment funds. There's no receipt, no moment of temptation. It's a small percentage, buried in a statement almost nobody actually reads line by line. The difference between paying a 1% management fee and a low-cost index fund's 0.03% fee on just $100,000 over 25 years is more than $100,000 in lost growth. On a real, multi-decade portfolio, it's dramatically more than that. Nobody decided to spend that money. It was taken, a fraction of a percent at a time, by something that looked too small to matter for 2.5 decades. And that brings us to the last one, the one that determines whether the other 9 ever add up to anything at all. Number 10. What happens to a raise? This is the one almost nobody gets right, including people doing everything else on this list correctly, because it doesn't feel like a decision, it feels like a reward. The raise arrives, and it flows straight into a bigger apartment, nicer everyday spending, a step up in every category at once, and within a few months the new number feels exactly as tight as the old one did. The quietly wealthy version redirects even half of every raise into investments automatically, before it ever touches a checking account, and starts to feel like money that's available to spend. Repeated at every single raise, every promotion, every bonus, across an entire career, this one habit is the actual difference between the other 9 adding up to real growing wealth, or just funding a slightly nicer version of paycheck to paycheck, indefinitely, no matter how high the income climbs. Go back to the 2 women in that coffee shop. The difference between them was never about how much either one earned, or how visibly either one spent. It was about redirection, applied quietly, 10 separate times for years, without anyone in that coffee shop ever noticing which was which. Every single item on this list is the same dollar, moving from something that disappears the moment it's spent, to something that keeps existing, and working, and compounding, long after the decision is forgotten. That's the entire difference, not less money moving through a life. The same money, moving somewhere that doesn't end when the transaction does. If even 2 or 3 of these are quietly running in your own spending right now, that's exactly what this channel exists to name. The specific redirections, with the real numbers attached, not vague advice to just spend less and hope that helps. Comment the number that hit closest to home. I actually read every one, and it's exactly how I decide which habit to break down next. And if this saved you from finding out about number 9 the hard way, hit subscribe. New breakdowns like this post several times a week, and you don't want the next one to find you a year late. Nobody on this list is deprived. They just stopped letting the choice get made for them, by default, one quiet redirection at a time, until eventually, nobody could tell which woman in the coffee shop was which.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned how to grow your wealth. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next video.